Kind of a cloudy, humid day, and by the way, excuse me since I didn't introduce myself, I'm Shug, and I'm heading down the Kekekabic Trail here in northern Minnesota, and I'm taking the east side of the trail off the Gunflint Trail, which is about this 47-mile long paved road that comes up and dead ends up here in northern Minnesota, and it's a big canoe area. I was up here about 3 weeks ago in this general area doing a 7-day solo canoe trip. So I was loading my pack, doing my final little set to stretch out and get here on the trail. And there's a woman up there kind of panicking because she's waiting for her daughter and husband and their dog. Well, apparently they're walking this, and she said she contacted them yesterday. Apparently they only had 9 miles left, but it's about, I don't know, noonish, give or take. And they haven't shown up yet, and they said they might be out by 8. So she was asking me what I thought, and I said all I can do is kind of look for them and tell them to get on up because you're waiting. But so, you know, kind of have that in mind. But I always wanted to walk this in. I'm kind of walking through one of the old burn areas from, I think it was 2003 there was a burn up here, and 2007 on Ham Lake. And you know, it just has that fresh growth, weedy, burned out look. So that's what I got. I got a couple of days. I'm just going to jaunt it. I've never walked it. It's in the boundary waters. I'm excited to be here. I'm going to tote my pack and moan and whine and think about the good food I didn't carry like I did on my canoe trip. Woo, buddy. I can hike with relief now because I just passed the 2 hikers and the dog, Rocky and Samantha, and I forget his name. And I said, you guys got about an hour to get back, and she's at the trailhead, and maybe be prepared for an earful. Kind of glad they're all right. I was having these mental games going, oh, maybe he had a heart attack, or maybe a bear got him, and they're sitting there and they don't have any cell phone or SOS or a Garmin inReach like I have or something. So now I can put those out of my mind and just concentrate on my own sweating. And get some blueberries here, man. Stop for a little munch. Delicioso. All right, real good. Eat the blue ones, not the red ones. That's bunchberry right there. All right, we got a big fresh bear poop who has also been enjoying the blueberries. Mother. Got to walk about an hour and a half before you get to the wilderness border. I've not yet stepped into it. Let me step into the boundary waters. Oh yeah, I feel very Lewis and Clarky. Looking a little gloomy back behind me. Thought I'd just plop myself down for a moment, eat a stinger bar. Get a little, whoa no, I dropped some of it. Tragedy! And nice thing about these burn areas, it's just a lot of when you sit around. It's real pretty right here. Blueberries. Give me some more of those. The vegetation is just growing up. It's looking pretty lush. Humid little walk, but nice. Oh, that's pretty right there. That's what a lot of the trail is like. It's kind of weedy, whippy, rocky, soggy. Then you go up, then you come down, and then it's weedy, whippy, rocky, soggy, on and on, ad infinitum. Found me a little shady place to sit for a minute. Stopped at a campsite back there maybe half an hour ago. First one you come to, really nice site. It's just too early to stop. Early! Having myself a Larabar. Lemon. Suddenly I feel pretty. Little jungly in here, little stream. Just crossed a portage, so we got some low area. Thick back here, man. Bugs aren't too bad. Well, that was a deep report, wasn't it? I'm just going to sit here and rest and then get on. Next campsite's Howard Lake. I heard it's not a great site. I don't know. Never know till you see it. I may feel different. So I was getting ready just to stand up and go on here a second ago, and I said, no, I gotta sit another minute. Because I got up at 3:20 in the morning. Early. And got on, 6-hour drive. Little fooling around, stopped at Toby's, probably at about, which is a kind of a famous Minnesota place where you get a sticky honey bun, cinnamon roll, that's what it was. Pecan caramel roll, cup of coffee. Ate that about 6:30 in the morning. A little nauseous after. They're big, man. Drove on, drove, and then I 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 stopped at the ranger station to get my permit, and then I had to watch a little film, and then I drove, got some gas, and then I drove, and then got to the trailhead. Sometimes a man's got to be hard on himself. Whoa. Man. The sweetest little blueberries. Found a nice little shady spot. I'm going to sit down here and take 5 minutes, drink some water, boogie on toward Howard Lake. Starting to poop out a little bit because I'm tired from getting up at 3:20 a.m., not p.m. I would like to be in the hammock by 7. Big thing is, am I going to eat my packet gourmet Texas State Fair chili or the packet gourmet ramen rescue? Plus I have some summer sausage and cheese. It's as deep as it gets for me right now. Let's see it. So I'm just having to skirt it all along here. Had to walk the end of that marshy area. So you're doing some wet footing. Gotta tell you, about a quarter of today has been pleasurable as far as walking goes. The rest of it's just been weedy, and you know, it's one of those things where the weeds are real long and there's just rocks all in the trail. So you're constantly stepping and slipping and jolting and jarring and kind of technical. It's not as quick a walk as I thought it'd be. I thought I would be there already, and I'm not. All right, I'm over. Because there's a couple of areas here where it's not easy to find the trail. Well, it's not finding it, it's just grown over. And then, you know, you get in these areas where it kind of goes a few directions and it's easy to second guess yourself. You just gotta go by your gut. But I'm getting on mile 8 or 9 here, and I'm feeling feeble. Oh, I'm tired. I can't wait to be there. I don't care. All I want is a water source. I'll sleep on the ground. I don't care. I don't care. Seriously, I don't. Not a lot of views in here. All right, I made it to the Howard Lake campsite that they said was not a good site, but I'll tell you this right now. Tree leaning out that way. I can string. That one looks a little bit damaged, but I'm hanging off of it, man. And fire pit right here. Lake right there. Got my water. Right down here. Nice clean spot. Little breeze coming across the lake, looking out to the west. So the one thing is the campsite is like right on the trail. I was just walking along going, please, I don't want to walk on rocks anymore. Just let me get here. And it's like, boom, here it is. I'm happy. I'll get my water filtered because I'm really thirsty. So chores are on their way. Oh yeah. I'm in my sweet spot. When I say sweet spot, I mean I am laying back and I am... But I gotta eat, so I'm gonna get up because I'm getting way too comfortable here testing the hammock. And what I got this trip is my War Bonnet El Dorado, which is like the XLC, but there's no shelf. I like to switch my hammocks around. Last trip it was the Superior Gear Starlight. This time it's the War Bonnet El Dorado. I got my Black Crow tarp, one I made myself, my DIY tarp, 11-foot ridgeline, 3.5 feet, 3.5 feet, about 7 across. And my Jacks Are Better 40-degree ultralight Shenandoah top quilt. And my Wilderness Logic 40-degree partial underquilt. And tonight's feast will be the Packet Gourmet Ramen Rescue with chicken. I will put the Maruchan roast chicken flavor ramen noodles. In Milan, I picked this meal because it had this in it. The Kolanada from the Czech Republic. My favorite confectionery treat of the year. These wafery, beautiful things right here. Man, super good. That's the meal. I wonder if that's good or bad for my spoon. There we go. Oh, Shug's excited because I'm going to eat and I'm crawling in that hammock, man, and I am done. Man, I'm just slurping away at my noodles here. Satisfying. Couple loons out on the lake looning. That trail kicked my buttocks today. I did not see that coming. I thought I was just going to walk all over this trail. Because I've done the west end. And, you know, it's low and marshy. But it was the overgrown stuff with all the rocks. And you couldn't see them down on the trail. And just constantly slipping and sliding and jamming and kicking. And I was getting a little testy the last half hour. Going, come on, rocks, man. Just give me a short, smooth section. And then I just curled right in this camp. And everything was like, oh, boy. Well, all I can say is all secure in Sector 7. Old man in the woods. I feel blessed to be out here by myself. But this is one place I kind of count my blessings out here. 64 and still able to do it. Though not as quickly as I used to. That's one thing I'm noticing. I have become the tortoise. A Ninja Turtle, maybe. Taking a little break from the noodles to have the Kolanada. At least half of it. Look at that. Man. That's my kind of... I wouldn't even call this a candy bar. All those wafery layers. Not too sweet. Texture. Magnificent. Oh, glory. Oh, glory. Froggy. Hey, Froggy. Hey, man. If I stare at my coffee pot, it'll boil faster. Old hillbilly pot and fancy feast stove. Rained last night a bit. Fairly kind of cloudy morning. Cool. And I'm enjoying a Boston cream pie Pop-Tart. Good. Ugh. So now I'm going to turn around and walk back out. At first, this first couple hours is that it was a short loon cry. It's going to be that was my least favorite part of the walk yesterday. This morning's breakfast is the Next Mile Meals sausage scramble. Hope it's good. Know soon. Get her. And got myself a pretty bowl going there. Beautiful. Bowls are pretty. Let me pour that up into the coffee here, man. That's what I'm saying. Kind of working on a little pitchy slope here. got to be fastidious about this so I don't ruin my coffee. That would be horrible. That would not be good. Alright, fill her to the top. So I have 4 ounces of water for the sausage scramble. Most important thing is to stir this coffee. Put it in a safe spot for a moment. Let you go tipping over. Okay? Well, that's pretty good. Looks eggy. Oh. Boiling hot and full of caffeine. You know, right as I was crawling in last night, it's just started to sprinkle. Never really turned into a hard rain, but just having that when I was going to sleep, and I was tired. Man, that was a lullaby. That was nice. Real nice. Now I'm going to get back to that nice camp I passed yesterday. Now it's only about 3 miles from the car. It was about a 9-mile walk, but it was a tough 9 miles. You know, it's geology. I'm not smart enough to know how the whole land mass builds and where all these rocks go, but all the loose ones that are about that big, like that, to that big, to those wedge-shaped ones that stick up and your foot slides and it jams, they're all back here. Pretty good for a dehydrated egg breakfast. Not horrible. I'm just going to lollygag just for a bit more, because I am the Lord of Lollygag. Oh, the Donaker, surrounded by lovely wildflowers. And I've always called this the nicotine plant. All over the place. This wet boots on, and my little liner sock, which I went back to a few years ago. And then this is just kind of a thin Tommy John dress sock. It comes up to the knees, but I turn it down, and then wet. Shake the spiders out. Oh, I got a message on my inReach. Might be my wife. Get that on. Okay. Wet clothes. Hung off that tree to that tree. I actually kind of like this little site because I had a good night's sleep here. Yeah, it's about 9:30. I lollygagged a little bit, but I'm just going to head back to that other camp, which is about maybe 3.5, 4 miles from the Jeep. So really only have to walk about 4.5 miles. And I'm fresh as a daisy or as a nicotine plant. And so here I go. Good night. Glad I came up here. Just 2 nights, but I knew that I'd get a little bit more solitude on this trail. Now the blue markers are on here. This is kind of what marks this trail, and there's not a lot of them, but sometimes you get to a little place and there's only about that much, maybe on the ground. So that and the rock cairns, that's your only markers on here. No signs, no signage, till you get out toward the east end, where part of this trail is what they call the Centennial Trail, and it's an old, I think a logging railroad bed, or it was a mining railroad bed. and you kind of passed the mine. I didn't film it coming in. But that's where just people get out of the car and just walk this little short loop to check that out. But getting back here, once in a while, you're really happy to see one of those cairns or the blue, just even a piece of blue just tied somewhere, and you go, oh, I was wondering if I was on the trail or just on some animal trail. All right, so there is one of those cairns that you're really glad to see. Because you come out of the woods, you're kind of at this big rocky area, and it's hard to know which way to go. That's not a cairn, that's a down tree. But you see that cairn, and you know the trail is going that way. So once in a while, those cairns, they really do the job. Because I remember being here yesterday kind of going, where does it go? And I was prepared to kind of walk that way, which is wrong. And I was tired, and I just did not want to walk across all these rocks. I was pissy, really, just a little grumpy. Little shout out to my hiking poles. I always think at the end of a trip that the piece of gear that is most underlooked, but very much looked at with joy and thankfulness, are my hiking poles, because they have saved me probably already 722 times out here. I've been walking through thick stuff like that, step on a big slanty rock, hit my toe on another one, suddenly off balance, and just catch myself. Even if it goes deep, I mean, they have, they do the job, you know. And I didn't really do hiking poles like in my 30s. I think when I got into my 40s and I started using 2 hiking poles. I used to just carry 1 stick once in a while, but I gotta have them. I wouldn't be out here without them. There, I said that. Take it as you will. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I love you, Black Diamond Flick Lock hiking poles. I love you, man. A little bit more berry-filled bear poop. I don't even remember seeing that yesterday. It's funny, when I got my permit, the rangers told me they were on the border route side, that bears have been invading camps, but I've seen a lot of sign through here. Even a place back there where it looked like something laid down and slept. And I saw that yesterday, but maybe we'll meet, say hello. Pass each other with a friendly wave and a tip of the cap, or a wiggle of the ear. Time for some farmhouse sharp cheddar cheese. After yesterday's walk, I've learned anywhere you can stop, you get a little view and a place to sit, do it, because the rest of the time you're back in the thick woods. Extra sharp and rich. That's the way I like it. Sharp and rich. That's my hip-hop name. I hear a beaver down there splashing around in the bog. Must sense me up here, like that beaver yesterday. I wonder if it's the same one. It's on the opposite side of the ridge, though. I guess there's more than one beaver lives out here, because there's a lot of beaver activity running off these trails, you know, little beaver tracks. So the walk this morning has not been as grueling. So that just proves when you're kind of fresh in the morning and you've walked it once and, you know, it was late in the day yesterday, not better. I'm not saying it was easy. That's real good. Creamy almost. Eating some blueberries with this cheese. Rather posh. These are the most blueberries I've ever seen out. I've really been enjoying them. There's some down there, but I'm too comfortable right now to get up and go get them. That's lame, but that's the way it is. That's the reality, folks. Can you hear that? That's that last site. I was going to stay there, but I'd run into this lady named Anna. It's about 50, and right away as I was walking up, she said, "You're a clown, right?" So I knew she'd watch my videos, and we had a chat for 20 minutes, and she's heading in, and she said, "Yeah, there's a guy at that site. He's got a baby with him, so he's got a baby and a banjo." So I stopped in and got water. I'm going to go on. He's waiting to meet his wife and her friend who are through hiking it, and supposed to get in this area today. And I told him, I said, part of that trail back there is slow going, so if they're not here for a while, that's why. It's just rocky and you can't see them because of all the, you know, all the growth over the trail. So I'm gonna head on back to the car, and I might just go down to a campground down there and stay there. So the option, or drive home. I don't know, we'll see. Well, I got to the Jeep, changed my clothes. I'm just gonna drive home. It's about 5:15 right now. I could be home by 11 tonight. So this trip ended up being a little bit shorter than I wanted it to be, but that's the way it goes. I can't control everything as much as I try. I'll just go on home and say this was kind of a, you know, a one-nighter. Long drive for a one-nighter. But I did get to see a section of the trail I haven't seen, and now I know it's a little bit harder than I ever imagined it, particularly that one area that you've heard me on and on and on about. So that's about it. So woo, buddy! All secure in Sector 7. Woo! See ya. Thanks for watching.